Good evening, Facebook family and friends. It is Saturday morning. It's 12:35 in the morning. It's October 22nd. It's 12:35 in the morning. It's October 22nd, Saturday morning. So really it's just past midnight, Friday night. So I was sitting here. You scroll through. I have some old photo albums where I keep a lot of pictures, and we're in the process of moving. So I drug out this box and I started looking through these pictures, these photographs. They're actual pictures. People, they do exist. And I came across a picture of me and a friend from 1994. I remember 1994, 1993. I remember those years clearly. So I looked at this picture and it brought back all these memories. I met this guy, I'm not going to say his name. I met this guy at the gym, Lee Haney's, I'm going to say LA Fitness. Lee Haney's gym on Ponce de Leon, if you live in Atlanta now, the old Sears building, which is now some new shopping mall of some sort. I don't know what they call it, damn place. But there was a gym there owned by Lee Haney's, the bodybuilder. And I met this guy at that gym. And I was 24. If I'm correct, if I was 24 in 94, I think he was either 28 or 29. I'm pretty sure about this. He was about 4 years older than me. 4 or 5 years older than me. I think 4. So I think he was 28. We became very close. I mean, just immediately we became close. He had just relocated to Atlanta. He had this apartment in Cobb County. In West Cobb, someplace off of not Cobb Parkway, Soft Cobb Drive. I remember that apartment complex he lived in. Anyway, he had moved to Atlanta. He had just gotten here. He had got a gym. He had just started going to the Haney's gym when we met. I remember the first time going to his apartment, he had no furniture. And I was like, okay, this man got no furniture in here. And he asked me would I go furniture shopping with him. I took him to Rich's furniture department store. Rich's had this beautiful furniture department store here in Atlanta, which is now Macy's. Took him to Rich's and I helped him choose. Actually, I chose every bit of furniture that he purchased, that he put in his apartment over there off Soft Cobb Drive. I remember picking out all that furniture, going through that Macy's. He was buying all the stuff left and right, lamps, tables, everything. It was just a one-bedroom apartment, so it wasn't a lot of stuff. But it was enough that I remember Rich's, when they delivered that stuff, he was at work, and I actually met the Rich's department store, and they delivered the stuff, and I helped them set the stuff up in the apartment. Me and this man spent hours together. Hours. I'm talking, y'all. We didn't have cell phones back then. He would call me from work. I love that man. I hate these emotions. Yeah, I'm drinking. Forgive me, I'm drunk. Fell in love with a man that was handsome, attractive, beautiful. We spent hours together talking on the phone. Me over at his place spending the night, or he at my place. We would go to dinner. For the first time in my life, I found somebody who had an interest in me. Who loved me for who I was. And y'all have to understand something. I was lying about what I did for a living back then. I couldn't tell this man I was a wanted criminal who had been writing checks all over from everywhere. So I came up with this particular story. I would tell people I was an interior designer, which was how I ended up picking all the furniture and stuff out for his home. And of course, I would be gone for hours, and I would be literally at work, as far as he knew, for hours. And There were times when he would think I was at work. We didn't have cell phones back then. So he'd have to wait to hear from me when I got back home, or I called him from my home phone. He didn't have to call it the ID back then. We spent hours together. I'd either spend the night at his house or he'd spend the night at my house. So I would say from 1990, in the whole year of 1994, we spent so much time together that my friends were like, at this point I had learned the tough lesson of keeping someone that you care about a secret. I didn't want anybody to know who he was. Because he was mine. I didn't want to share him with my friends. I lost so many other partners to people I had been dating. So he didn't know anybody gay in Atlanta, as far as I knew. So I just kind of kept this thing, our relationship, very private. Oh gosh, we would go to dinner like Houston's, my favorite restaurants. We'd go grocery shopping. We'd go shopping. We'd travel up to Chattanooga. We did all kinds of stuff together. Even my family. We spent a great deal of time together. I'm talking hours and days. Then one day, he vanished. Poof, into thin air. I didn't hear from him for a day or two, which was very unusual. I thought, well, where's this man at? So I drove over to his apartment, and all that beautiful furniture I'd picked out was gone. In fact, the door was open. The apartment was empty. I remember walking through that apartment, literally holding my heart like, what is going on? I remember going to the leasing office, asking them questions, and they said he moved and he no longer lived there. I never heard from that man again, not for years. So this was in 94. This was Christmas of 94, which was a very painful period for me because I just spent a year with a man who vanished. Poof, gone. I didn't hear from him again. He didn't call me. I had no way to get in touch with him. I had nothing. It was a very painful period of time for me because I didn't understand what had happened. Sometimes you carry this stuff, you think that you did something wrong. And I remember thinking, what did I do? How did I lose this guy? Again, how did I lose someone I cared so much about? So, in 2005, almost a decade later, I walk into LA Fitness Gym in Atlanta, here in Atlanta, on Spring Street. So it had to be about 2005. It could not have been. It could have been 2005, 2006. I walked into the locker room and I almost fainted because there he was, standing there by a locker. And I stopped. He looked at me. He dropped everything. And we just stood there staring at each other for a minute. He didn't look the same. And I immediately knew something was wrong. I knew it. So that day, for the first time in years, here I was talking to the man who vanished, someone I loved. Somebody that I talked to every day for a whole year, maybe longer, about a year. And he just poof, up and disappeared. And I finally started getting answers. Why did you move? Why didn't you call me? Where did you go? Why did you leave? What did I do? Long story short, he found out he was HIV positive, and he didn't have the courage to tell me. So he packed up in the middle of the night, and moved back home. He didn't tell me anything. So I never knew anything about what was going on. Not for a whole 10 years. A whole decade went by before I got answers. So, I did get the answers I wanted. That was a painful journey. Very difficult to accept. Someone that you love and care something about, so much about, and they just up and disappear. And then 10 years later, you finally start getting the answers that you should have got back in 1994. But he said he couldn't tell me that then. Anyway, we did become friends again. I have a picture of him. I will show him. Is he still here in Atlanta? Things are not, of course, the same. He has struggled with many health issues along the way. I kind of kept my distance. Got hurt the first time. I wasn't really feeling it the second time. I wasn't gonna let that happen. I wasn't gonna let that happen a second time around. But I have these pictures I'm gonna show him from that era in our lives. Anyway, got all these videos, these pictures I want to make a video out of because I think a lot of y'all might enjoy seeing some of these pictures from years ago. My video is being interrupted by somebody being kind of loud and rude. You don't see me do this video? Anyway, I'm out. Enjoy your night.